But I guess we have bands, right?
Yeah, let's see where we're actually going to play.
Yeah, there you go.
Where will it be? Well, so let's see. Assuming there is no auto bans on Coastline, that's still on the board, as well as Clubhouse Bank, and they go off quickly. So, well, Coastline again. It's going to be one of those days, as you said. It seems like
it's like I know everything. I see into the future.
It's similar, but not quite.
Oh, it's similar, but not quite.
So, I mean, this is one that has been okay. I mean, Mockit like to play this map. They've done a good job on it. Let's take a look at what you guys think, though, when we talk about the historical record of the map.
Yeah.
So far, it has been good for Mockit, though. They've won 6-2 on it twice against Chaos and Supremacy.
Did they win the community vote?
That's the real question. Is if they didn't win that, it's
up in the air.
GG.
And it honestly,
wow,
that is literally the closest we have ever seen this.
I would love to see it 41-41 and then, you know, maybe one more point and draw. Yeah, draw.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to redo our map bans.
But
however,
we're hearing it might be actually Clubhouse.
It is Clubhouse.
Huh. Well, that's slightly different. Still starts with the letter C, and that's a good thing.
What an exciting day.
It sure is. It's a big thrill, but I'm glad to see Clubhouse as opposed to Coastline every time. I mean, as much fun as that is, as much as I love that.
We were in Spain.
That's true.
Spain is nice.
We also weren't running around shooting each other, so it's a little bit different.
I don't know what you were doing.
But we can go back.
I don't know what you were doing, man, but like...
All right. Well, let's see what they decide to ban here on Clubhouse.
All right. We'll remind you, ladies and gentlemen, of the stakes at hand. And they are huge ribeye stakes in this one. If Mockit win, they qualify to Rio. If Millenium win, they qualify to Rio. If both teams tie and Secret beats Chaos, Secret qualifies to Rio. If Mockit, Millenium tie and Chaos loses, Mockit qualifies. After tying completely with Millenium, that aside. Lion ban, nothing surprising. Second ban on Maverick when it's Clubhouse, no surprise at all.
Yeah, definitely not a surprise there. I mean, obviously there's some other hard breachers that occasionally get the axe, but Maverick is definitely the one that's the most problem.
Yeah, and I mean, even with that, even if Thermite had been banned, Habana is still, in my opinion, a better operator to bring on this because he offers more flexibility on more of the sites if you get bamboozled off of one of them. But here we go. Speaking of bamboozle, it's Echo off play. So this time we should be seeing Maestro being put on the board, and Mockit are well known for having a pretty darn good Echo on their side. I guess most teams have pretty good Echo players. So we'll get to see how things go here between both of these two teams. Seeing as how Veil has been so effective in terms of fragging and aces as well on Millenium's side, it is a battle of giants really here.
Livin trying to trick them into thinking they were going to have to deal with the shield. Maybe that could have baited a Capitao pick, but not going to be the case here. Now, because they don't have any operators to... Oh, no, they already have Capitao. What am I saying? But they didn't have the Zofia to deal with it as well, but I guess you don't really need it. It's funny to see rips on the Thatcher because Veil was a good Thatcher for quite a while before joining this team, or might have been... Yeah, I think it was before joining the team, before they picked him up. And, you know... In this case, switch it up. KS has played a lot of Thermite, though, so not a surprise to see him on that, as well as Corey's role. So most of it makes a lot of sense here in the way that they're playing it.
If there's two attacking operators that KS is very much used to, it's the Thermite and, back in the day, a lot of Buck. So, you know, back when he used to play on the Penta roster.
He's still done that a few times lately as well.
Yep, he's done that quite a few times, but still, it's not as much as before as he's gotten to play different roles, I guess. But on the defense, it's more of the Jaeger. He used to play a lot of the Mira, plays her when she's not banned. There's a lot of, you know, decent chunk of flexibility here, not only on the operators, but the roles. A lot of times, your operators don't define the roles, but they definitely can fit into one or another. And look at the setup here from Millenium. They pretty much turn this whole wall into Swiss cheese.
Yeah, they definitely do not want to have to deal with fighting that from the inside if they have to go for a retake. So that's a good way to do it because you're pretty much going to play it in some spot that's very likely open to one of those holes. Even though playing very aggressive upstairs here, just about, I'm not sure if he saw
the feed.
Yeah, he looked, judging by the fact he's holding the angle makes me think he's holding. Yep, there we go. Unfortunately misses the drone though, so now he's going to have to rotate off, unfortunately. So just due to a drone from Capitao, bye-bye, Liven. Nope, one last shot before I go, just to make you drone it again. Oh, might have actually got the drone. And he did, so good on him. Now, Brian going to have to bring in another one.
Alright, Veil in the meantime, opening things up as, you know, again, Habana, this is what she really does offer, is the ability to go in and destroy 3 hatches if need be. Oh, they try to push Veil back, but he should be able to go through this. I'm not sure if Renshiro will be able to impact trick it, and I believe that worked. And yes, it did.
Nicely
there you go.
done.
All down. Remember that Habana's changes after the Paris Major means that you need 4 of her Exkyros to hit before you destroy something, and Veil, there you go. He opens things up with a kill on Aces, taking down the Maestro early on, but it's KS on the floor. No more Thermite, and the Diffuser's on the floor. They should be able to pick up KS here. They open up the kitchen hatch. Renshiro being very active.
Nice pick down there. Unfortunately, all that's ended up going to cost him is a slight bit of time and 50% of his health, but it was a good attempt, good use of that angle from downstairs like that.
Is KS running the new skin?
Oh, it might be.
Yeah, there's a new set of spooky skins that are out, by the way.
Well, let's see how scary he can be to the enemy team with it.
Yeah, well, there you go. Try to open up the sidewalls. Corey will get the kill on Livin, and will take down the Valkyrie. Corey peeking in from the opposite side is KS. Just spraying in from the opposite end is right now just Rise sitting in the back, and in the armor it's Hicks. Rips will find one more, taking down Rise, but it's Renshiro for the refrag on KS, taking down the Thermite with the pre-opened wall, but it's Corey to refrag, and Renshiro is on the floor. All up to Hicks, in this case the very much lonely dancer. We'll have to fall back to the armory, and Veil will find the angle and connect. Mockit, methodical, very German. They come in and take down Millenium in the very first round. A very convincing round on a site that is hit or miss for the attackers.
I mean, that was a fairly good attack in terms of just being efficient. I mean, the one counter they able to, well, I guess the 2 counters was the impact tricking first, which ultimately resulted in a death, actually. Not onto the impact tricker, but onto the Maestro. Still a good pick. Well, probably even better than had it been otherwise. But that and the attempted attempt on the life of KS, not really working out, because by the time they finally killed KS, too little too late, he'd done his job. So well played, and having the double hard breacher is definitely helpful on that site. So it's good reading to that. Although I'd say you could still be somewhat useful having both on multiple sites on this map. So having a good comp that runs on that, and then even having the Thatcher, they're running a very breach heavy strat by bringing the Thatcher along with those other 2. Now, of course, had the Maverick not been banned, they could have actually gone with a Maverick instead of a Thatcher in a lot of situations, but that might be a bit overkill in addition to the other 2 hard breachers. But good attempt by Millenium, they tried, but ultimately just not working out in terms of good flanks as well by taking control of Church. We'll see how well they do on Cash. This is one that is a little bit trickier to get that wall open, although it is not going to be necessarily that hard with the Thatcher, especially if they could catch Aces off. Now, Aces should have a little bit of idea how Mockit might play this given his previous role in the team, but it has been a while now, and Mockit very likely have changed things up a little bit.
Yeah, and everything here from Mockit, as you mentioned, signals we want to breach ASAP.
Yeah.
That's a pretty sweet spot, actually, from the Maestro camera, as it's very difficult to spot. It's not the first place you're going to look into, so it's possible that that might come in and actually be the thing that destroys, you know, maybe Exkyros or maybe a Thermite charge. So in the meantime, it's Mockit trying to set up by the outside balcony. Of course, you see the Bandit already set up his shock wires. So Ace is just going to stand here. Now, usually what happens, the Habana comes in, opens up the wall from the garage, and from there we'll have an angle, and there you go. It's already opened, and Baka can contest if need be, but there's Rise already there, and Livin is ready because there's potential plays with repels, and those can be very complicated to deal with, but Livin won't get anything out of this one here on the castle. Brian just peeking in, trying to take down any utility that has been preset. We'll shoot down at least the default camera, and so far, crossbow bolt used to no avail.
Well, you did hear Thermite doing his job and wall getting open, it sounded like, so they're in a good position for this attack now and have not lost any health as well. Just trying to suss out where the defenders are playing so that they can start to actually execute. As I say that, though, Brian does take a little bit of damage, down to almost 50%. Not the worst position to be in, though. They do have to worry about these garage players, especially Rise.
Just standing up top here, finding the angle on KS. He takes down the Thermite, but you know what? It doesn't matter. The Thermite had already done his work. There's a goo mine that was already used, and it should be able to take it out. There you go. They're drawn into the site, but they know that there's a rotation hole, and they spot the Jaeger in the back. Rips has come in. They can use the angle to hold down rotations, as right now you just don't want to C9 this and walk in and plant right on the breach. You want to go in from the back of the servers and plant from there.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to start doing some rotations to get this control, because no one's wanting to give up any kind of positioning to Corey. Speaking of giving up positioning there, Liven nearly getting taken out. He is still fairly low on health, but Corey actually does get finished off by Rise, his second kill of the round already. Doing quite well.
The question is, will Rise move away? And yes, to connect onto Baka.
Wow.
It takes him out. In the meantime, the Hibana is still downstairs. Can't really vault into the garage here with all screw tops being used. No more EMPs available for Rips. He has the R33, which has a lot of very high DPS, especially compared to the L85, but won't be able to use too much of that as Rise still alive somehow in the back. He's going to try to find the angle, and there you go. Veil is down.
Let him have the
Rise. My God.
Reset him so he can get the ace. Just do it.
Just do it. There you go. The Meister will peek, and Hicks will take it away. It trips to go down, but the amount of damage there that was done by Rise, absolutely amazing.
That's why that catwalk's so dangerous, and it certainly doesn't get any easier. Regardless of what you do, really, there's no real heavy strategy to take that catwalk that could be employed by most teams. I mean, anything you do to try and take it out is not without a huge amount of risk on your own part, and that's why you see it so well played. And Cash still a very good bomb site. Now, of course, they did lose Church Arsenal, so they can go back, and they will go back after having changed it up, took their victory, not wanting to go to anything like Gym Bedroom yet. I mean, very unlikely to see Bar coming out from any of these teams. Aces teasing, if not sticking, a cap can. There's almost no reason to ever stick a cap can pick. It's almost always going to be a 6 pick because, well, he only really works with the element of surprise. So he's going to switch over to another trap operator, this one with invisible traps, as opposed to semi-invisible. So, good play. Of course, he gets 8 instead of 5 as well, so not quite as much damage as you're going to get from cap can traps, though.
Sure, and you know what? You know, a map like this doesn't really allow Capcan to come into his own.
Definitely is not full of a lot of red surfaces and things where you can stash those.
No. This isn't...
Cafe?
Oh, wait, this isn't Cafe.
Speaking of Hicks, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who we're on right now.
Yeah. Anyways, I kind of miss Cafe, I'll be honest with you. Not Night Cafe, not in ranked, but I kind of miss it. Anyways, we'll see the setup here from Millenium as Renshiro setting up his... Wow, that is...
a very aggressive setup upstairs. Evil eyes and open walls.
I wonder what they're going to... Okay, the only thing that makes... Are they going to play completely upstairs?
I mean, if you have some good position, you have the right intel, and you have people that are on site that can actually watch cameras for you because they're not being pushed, it's not a terrible idea if you can pull it off. You just also have to really be careful of the attacker drones catching out your positions without you seeing them.
Haha, this is what I like. Mockit scouting things out, immediately changed the battle plan. Now we'll try to come in from blue and at the same time from construction, but there you go. No! Brian taking down Rips, but KS will refrag, taking damage, but it's him down again due to Rise. Baka will move in through blue to try and contest the generator, and he'll be heard as Livin. Will peek, he takes a lot of damage as well, but there's only 2 alive for Mockit, as Millenium immediately fall back on the site and are all ready to contest. The bait within the bait, as Mockit have bitten it, I guess.
Certainly about to bite it. Veil on low health. It's all on, pretty much on Corey for the most part here to try and do some serious work. I mean, at least they've got hatches open and some angles, but they don't even have diffuser right now. That 1 kill is not going to change a ton on that front.
Corey is on the site here. The diffuser's in the back. This is a problem now, actually, because this can spiral out of control, but look at that. Mockit suddenly low, super low on health. The smoke has switched around to the SMG, but it's Corey to try to move in to contest the castle on the opposite end. The smoke can peek at any point in time and make this a dead, done round, but won't be doing so just yet. Veil comes in from the side, and Aces will go down the Rise with a refrag on a Corey. Does Veil know where the 2 players are? Hicks will rotate away, and they're off the site. They're both off the site. The diffuser's being camped from the opposite end of the map, and now It's Veil that'll have to walk into it. What?
Right in.
What is going on?
This is definitely Veil just trying to think, what can I even do at this point? Still has 2 flashes left, but that doesn't matter.
Oh my god.
From the oil pit.
Can we get an interpreter for this round?
I'm not sure that's possible because I think that was in the Wingdings.
My god.
Yeah.
That was... So, here's the thing. Millenium try to pull a bamboozle, okay?
Okay.
They play the bar. They set up so much utility around the bar. Where, you know what? Mockit, smart. What they do, let's push in from the opposite ends. We'll go from tunnel, we'll go from oil pit. From there, we'll try to contest and push onto the site.
Step 2, team kill.
Team kill. We're not expecting the smoke up close. Lost the gunfights, even though KS won it in tunnel. The smoke was still alive, and they couldn't do much against him. They'd taken armory, but a diffuser was already in the back. They couldn't do anything to recover it. And the instant the push from tunnel was called in, Millenium immediately dove back on the site. I have to say.
Yeah. It's
That was
well played. And then Millenium realizing, hey, we had a good time in the bar. Let's just go ahead and switch the bomb site from gym bedroom to bar as well.
What?
So they are definitely trying to keep us as bamboozled as possible.
What is this heresy?
Well, it's a heresy that's a point ahead right now.
That's a very good point.
I'll take it.
Remember, if there's a winner at the end of this match, they go to Rio.
Yeah, so this is definitely not for the memes or the lulz. This is definitely for a spot there, plane ticket in the hotel.
And a lot of money.
Yeah.
And the potential to salvage your name or bring it up. Remember, Mockit have to be the team. They have a lot of pressure on their shoulders to be like, hey, it's a new lineup. We struggled early on in the season.
Also, we haven't had a German team in lane yet.
Yeah, and you know, hey, we can try to bring it back. Millenium, they want to be French representative at LAN, especially since they were in Pro League last season in Atlantic City. They won DreamHack right after it as well. So pretty darn good team. Can they continue the streak? They need the win today. Team Secret as well, fighting for their potential position. They're a team that won DreamHack, the second one in Valencia. And after that, they make it to semis at the Major. You know what? They want to make it to a Pro League final, which they have not been able to do just yet. It's a lot of stakes on the line.
Yeah, I mean, obviously not since they were youngest. So it's been a while.
I mean, Millenium played a few times, you know?
Yeah.
Attackers have located a
They have
bomb.
the old Youngtis with Renshiro and Yogurts, which, you know, only one of them is still playing. I guess. Rest in peace, Scott. He's still alive.
Oh. Interesting attack coming out here for it. They're setting up, of course, to take cash first because to take top floor, you pretty much got to kill that guy right there. That position usually works out a lot for the defenders. Unfortunately, for that one, not quite. And a follow-up kill from Corey downstairs as well. Stock. It's going to leave Renshiro really having to do a lot of work here because as soon as he falls, there's so much pressure on site. More than enough utility to make sure that that can easily be turned into a win.
Ooh, Livin trying to convert his information there into a winning fight, but Hicks will try to find it. And no, that'll be Renshiro. Would have been pretty sweet if he had indeed been able to hit it. There's only a bit of damage done to Corey. Still alive in the situation. C4 to open up the floorboard here to potentially find a kill on a player downstairs in the stock room, as Corey will get one on Livin off on the rotation. Smoke right into Hicks' face. It's only 2 alive. More utility being lobbed into the site as this might be potential plant here. Veil will walk right into Renshiro, and Baka Brian will find the last on Hicks. Brian definitely putting the numbers up this matchup here, especially compared to last week. And Mockit will bring it closer and closer to Millenium as now we head into round number 5. Yeah. 2-2. It's close.
Bar not quite working out.
I mean, maybe, and I know you're probably going to call me crazy for this, Emzo. Maybe there's a reason why teams don't play bar.
You know what? That might be the most sane thing you've ever seen. It was it's very insightful and true.
Yeah.
Gym bedroom though coming out, I would say unnecessarily because they can play cash again. So, I mean, do what you want, I guess. We'll see if that can work out in terms of tripping them up a little bit. This is a harder site to defend since that change to the impact tricking, and that's a big concern. Now, I mean, you were able to, you could try and bandit trick the wall, but it's just you're so exposed to the window in gym. The one thing you could do against that, of course, was to try and impact trick, which doesn't require you to stand immediately next to the wall.
Doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. Not to mention, I mean, there were some counters for it in the sense of trying to use the X-Kairos and things like that, but it was still required some work from the attackers. Now, not so much.
It was very much a convoluted setup to try and get it done this time around, or after the 6 major patch with Grim Sky. That ability was removed. So there you go. This is what I prefer to what a lot of teams will do, which is shooting in the middle.
5 seconds left before
Floorboard holes to shoot feet, or at least see the feet, is much better. It covers you up. The thing is, and this is what I'm really scared of, is when teams use a lot of smoke, it's much easier to spot the feet because at the bottom the smokes are much thinner than in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's why they tell you to get on the ground when it's in real life, right?
Exactly. So because of that, you'd rather have floor level holes because then you can see the feet much easier than it would have been actual bodies because the smoke is thickest at the middle.
Yeah. Something to definitely consider, not to mention, of course, smokes or not, it's much easier sometimes to shoot people in the feet because as a defender, you can go prone more often than an attacker usually, as you have the ability to set your own positions, but we'll see. That wall's going to get open soon here. And also, they placed a deployable shield on the bed to try and resist people trying to actually plant on that, similar to what we see on Coastline. Now, the angle that you saw Corey facing, that window I feel like is so key a lot of times to defenders being able to win this site, is being able to create cross pressure from the cache window and being able to just keep control of cache as long as possible. Means they just cannot do as much because, yeah, there are other places you can rotate from, but most of them can be cut off. Logistics, there's the hatch. The stairs, well, there's the whole open wall and jacuzzi. So, I mean, once you're in bedroom, you're kind of trapped in bedroom if you cannot control the cache side as well.
Well, that's why you need players off of the site when possible. And the thing is, Millenium are playing still in cache and destruction. Mockit aren't contesting them at all. They're just going to hold the angles against them. And this is a great position from Corey if he wishes to use it. To use it is just stand on top, and he'll have an angle on the window that's very easy to clear. Though I guess they will try to push logistics in the meantime. I don't know if they have droned it.
Yeah, it looked like they were going to have Corey maybe drone it extra.
There you go. First kill for Aces, though. He peeks against Corey, and he wins the fight off the window. The important one that you were just mentioning from CCTV, and they try to find the footsies there, but unfortunately, nothing to hit for the Arrow 33. KS to take down a glue mine here that was set up by the entryway. Mockit are gearing up to go, I guess. There you go. Utility will get thrown in from Brian, but the gas canisters are literally everywhere. And C4 will connect on Baka, at least dropping him down on the floor. Of course, right now, Millenium are unsure of that, but Vale will go down to Renstiro. So this is now very problematic for Mockit. Only 2 players left. They'll try to push into the site as the wall is completely soft here. Kiss holding the cross angle as the bandit will try to peek. Aces, can he find the angle? He's rotated in from below, and the Maestro is ready as well, just watching the hatch. Aces is in, but he's going to try to go for the chase against the Thermite, and there you go. It's Chaos on the floor, Rise with one more, and last alive is Baka, not for long. Hicks will dive right in with the SMG-11 and finish him off. Letting him take the first half 3-2. Frenchman in the lead, but remember, all that matters here is a win.
Unfortunately, the lack of pressure from multiple directions just ultimately costing Mockit. Yeah, they got the hot tub wall open, but I mean, really, you only need one person watching that at most. Everyone else needs to be creating additional pressure and trying to herd the defenders into a specific area. Of course, cache is definitely one part of that, as I mentioned. Now, it is a risk, of course, as you try and counter people in cache. You might end up losing a few attackers if you're not playing it aggressively, or with some utility that can kind of deny that, flashbangs, things like that, some good drones, even some of the concussions from the lifeline. There's definitely ways to play against it, but if you cannot create any kind of pressure on any other side, you saw what happened. They just camp up, they get themselves in good angles, they can establish positions you can't do much about. Even the ability of the Maestro to play on the stairs by taking advantage of his ACOG to be able to play a longer angle, it's a tough spot to be in as an attacker if you're not doing really anything about that. So, a nice attempt, but ultimately Millenium now in the driver's seat as the side switch. We'll see how they go on their attacks against Church, which is where Mockit are going to start first. See if they got any tricks here they're going to use, or if Mockit's going to try and do anything crazy as well by playing some players upstairs. Vale may or may not do that, but he's probably just going up to set up his cameras at the moment and make sure that the music's not going to interrupt.
Yeah, it's it can be fairly loud.
Yeah.
You don't want loud music to interrupt you shooting.
5 seconds remaining.
Unless it just jazzes you up for the fight.
Actually, I don't know about you, but you know, it's always good to have some music on the side or play T-Hand or something.
I like the holes, of course, being set up here. It's just the old as whack-a-mole, as we call it, where you don't really know which one he's peeking through. And it just also gives the impression that you cannot counter it easily, so it's risky to peek it. I mean, could it be a situation, though, where they just end up with something like a Zofia Lifeline to just open that whole thing up? Then, well, you don't have to worry about which hole to peek. But it's still, you know, one of those things that, you know, can work against you, but definitely is good to keep the attackers on their toes. In the meantime, though, drones coming out just to make sure everyone is all downstairs where they belong.
All right, KS is, as you mentioned, downstairs in the arsenal room here in the armory. Corey opening things up here by the bar so he can play behind it in church. And I guess Millenium with Hicks will try to move in from the tunnel with the thermite. You know, previously construction, now just tunnel. As we actually have a full construction call out.
It's like we also have 2 bathrooms on this map now too.
Going
Something
live.
to keep in consideration.
Activating
I think before console it might have been the only one with 2 bathrooms.
I don't keep track of the bathrooms on the maps, but
Being a diabetic, I have to. I'll be honest with you.
yeah, there's a lot of stories around that. But yeah, here nobody is on the top floor for now. Millenium will go in the opposite end as they've taken their time. Rancher, in the meantime, on the Zofia will try to peek in from the middle hallway. Believe the sidewall is left soft in front of KS here to walk into B from the hallway. No, it is reinforced. There you go. Good.
That's good, yeah.
Thank
I like the side angle to the side. Now, that can still be vaulted through, which is the big deal, right? Is
Uh-huh.
usually people open it up so they can just run on in. But if he's playing it and staying secure the way the angles he's playing, it's a smart play.
Looks a lot like a very standard church push here, but they're going to need to set up the exothermic charge correctly, and there you go. Is it going to be bandit trick? Yes, it
Wow.
will be. There you go. No more charges to use.
Almost pulled a super.
Does Livin have any utility? At least he has one side, and can they trick the other sets of Rabanas? No, they can't. Oh boy. Okay, Corey will still have to play in the back. He still has a set of Shockwire to play with. And now, unfortunately, he can't do much to counter this opening, as it'll be watched by the Ever-Watcher, a.k.a. Renshiro.
The Everwatch.
Attackers have located a bomb.
We'll see what they do about the holes as well in blue when they're trying to
Oh,
erase
boy.
that from...
There you go. Rise is ready for the grenade, and this does not always hit. He'll bounce it right around. It'll blow right into Rise's face as Corey is still alive. And look at the amount of damage done to Millenium. Vale and KS will get a kill each on Hicks and Rise, and then Corey will fall up on Livin. Aces and Renshiro alive with 10 seconds on the clock. Baka will hit the shotgun. Renshiro only left here. He's going to take some damage from the bandit batteries, and there you go. Vale will finish him off, and the site that Millenium were not able to hold the first time.
Yeah, they pulled it off the
By
second
Mockit.
time. So, I mean, overall, it's been an okay site for defenders. I imagine if Mockit get a chance to play it again, it might go a different way, but... I mean, this is, we've talked about it before, this map tends to run contrary to Coastline, a little more defensive-sided now that there's more bomb sites that are viable, and we saw even Gym as well be viable, but Bar, pretty much where it started, which is not so desirable.
Honestly, I have to mention it again. That bar pick actually might be the thing that comes around and loses Millenium the game. It
just,
might.
Yeah, the Bar defense might have cost them Rio, depending on how things go down. Definitely a risk, but I mean, that's the thing though. This game involves a lot of ticket calculated risks. So
It's
certainly,
just sometimes you're bad at math.
yeah. I'll own up to that one.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
We'll see though how things go down now on this cash defense. This is only their second defense. They are going to bring the alibi, something I think we've seen KS do before. There are some good trickery you can do with it upstairs here, so it is not unusual at all to see it on this particular bomb site. At the same time, there are a lot of other operators you can play, so it's going to have to hopefully pay off for KS, or he might have also made a calculated risk that doesn't work out.
We'll get to see how this site's going to be played. Cash has been I want to say, instrumental part of Clubhouse in the past, ever since New Clubhouse was introduced, right after Atlantic City. So yeah, it's pretty entertaining to see things changing and being adapted for different teams. And here you see how Baka will set up his rotation hole. I believe he'll still be playing on the site. Is there a Jaeger? There is, but there's also the alibi of Chaos.
We'll see if Vale goes to play similar to what Rise did, because he got a 4K off that position. So it's definitely a good position to play. So if he could do something similar, this could be a good defense. But
yeah, both the alibi and the Jaeger would be great operators to set up here. But I guess Vale will be playing that. He's right by the motorcycles.
That's risky and aggressive here, but he does have a teammate at least down here with him. Still, though, this is again something that is a bit of a calculated risk, because playing up on the catwalk, of course, means you can also rotate back the site quickly, whereas playing downstairs, not so much. You only have one way up, pretty much, which is that staircase that can be very exposed to the doorway, which will be open.
There you go. Habana's Kairos will be set and instantly burned, as in the meantime, Renshaw is not able to come in from the opposite side, and there you go. A full set will be taken out. In the meantime, Renshaw opening up the side wall that was already set up as a rotation hole. Now, what a lot of teams do when they run an Echo, for example, on defense, is that they have a shield right there. Unfortunately, the Echo is not available. And there's there you go. There's one half opened up, and there'll be a second one. And unfortunately, this does not help out Millenium too much. They'll open a crawl hole and then a
Not so crawl hole, I guess.
yes, that's a way.
Either way, though, at least he got away with his life. I mean, Corey did what he could and managed to make it so it's going to be tricky. I mean, they still have Hicks able to go open up the wall next to it, assuming he's not going to get shot doing so from the hole if he has good coverage from an angle, say from even a repelling operator.
Oh no, the impact grenades. They don't connect, and unfortunately, that leaves the hole open now by the Thermite. Corey will set up very close here by the doorway leading to cash destruction. And the Aces will find the kill. There you go. KS will go down. Air 33 to connect and fail. No, okay. That was a bit of an oof if it had been a connection from the Legion. Though, the Jaeger to take down the Buck. Great kill here. Renshaw is on the floor, and we'll get finished off by Corey. Corey finds the second. Hicks is on the floor, and Mockit closer to taking this round and getting a pretty darn big advantage here, as Aces and Livin will be the last two players alive. Now, Millenium have gotten great retakes. We'll remind you guys of the retake last week. I believe it was between Aces and Rise. We'll see how things work out for this one here, as Corey will set himself up in the construction. To get closer, as Aces will take him out, but it's already Livin down on the floor. Can he find the headshot? No, he cannot. Aces, no damage done to his opponents. Will have to peek right into the Legion, and the smoke it rips is ready for him. Aces will go down, and Mockit get closer and closer to Rio. 2 more wins, and they book their ticket. Well, they send an email to book their ticket.
And then hopefully get a confirmation and an itinerary. Either way, though, great play by Corey. I mean, he eventually died in the end, but some kills, some denial of entry. Unfortunately, the impact nades from, I'm assuming, maybe the Legion or one of the other players that like a smoke they could bring.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the smoke was bringing the impacts.
I'm just confused, because the Legion, I think, was downstairs for a while, so I'm not sure if he'd rotated back up to go for the denial. But either way, did not succeed in that denial, and Corey technically didn't succeed in his, in the sense that he didn't stop all the Hibana charges, but he also made it trickier for them by denying that the initial one that was split up, that was supposed to make him much more difficult.
This is what I don't understand. Why did Livin, after he had successfully opened a first hole, not follow up with a second set of Kairos on top of the first one?
Well, what can you do? Hindsight 2020, but score advantage over to Mockit. Now they have to go to their third bomb site, though. This is where, of course, Millenium can bring it back, because being your third bomb site means it's your weakest bomb site, or you bring it out earlier, generally. I mean, there are some trickery that can be involved in there, but usually that's the case. And then, of course, this is a bomb site that usually is the third one for good reason. They're not going to go down to something like Bar and just yet, hopefully not at all. But we'll see how they defend this. It was defended very well by Millenium, and so far Mockit are 2 for 2 on their defenses. So entirely possible they pull this off. Ace is actually bringing, I think, the first IQ of this match. And of course, that is going to be a nice counter to Rips' pulse, as well as being able to spot some of those alibis.
Yep, it is very true. We've seen, I want to specify this especially from Chaos last week, when they played Consulate against Millenium. They had some pretty darn good spots here to play with the Alibi Prismas. But here we'll see one that's set up on top of the bed, right by the shield, and there you go. First kill actually going the way of Corey, as he'll get the hit on the buck of all operators, which means now pressure on logistics is very difficult for Millenium, and they won't have any grenades as well.
Also, Rise being one of the strong fraggers on the team, definitely going to help things out here.
That's a big position for Mockit.
Yeah, they're definitely looking at towards that 5 points potentially. But of course, this is the harder of the bomb sites to defend, so still, I mean, wall advantage over to defenders in a sense. Attackers still have the advantage in terms of the way they can attack this. They didn't lose an operator that was going, you know, like hard breach or something like that, but yeah, losing the top breacher still going to be a problem for them.
Okay, well, we'll see if the first German team ever can qualify to Rio for Pro League, as Aces will open. Oh, this, I love this. So this is a spot that Waka, I mentioned this before, but Waka in Norway plays this, and no! Unfortunately, this is what it usually ends up.
Still gets away with 50% health though, which is better than he might have gotten if he'd gotten headshot.
Yeah, but unfortunately with this, when you're already down the buck, they don't actually know where he is. There you go. Livin will try to come in and pick the IQ back up. The diffuser is going to be set on top, as in the meantime Rips is scanning around, and it's a problem here for Millenium, as they lose around 25 seconds to get back into position after that.
And they've only got a minute left and haven't really done any damage to the defenders. This is actually a very good position for Mockit to be in. They also have the pulse downstairs with the C4. I mean, Ace is still alive to be able to try and counter that, but it's going to be difficult, at least alive in trying to drone him out.
See the bed itself is not a viability here, but Corey will find yet another one. Hicks will go down, and that's now your heart breacher down on the floor. Sure, your second one will be lost as well. Traded off. Renshiro, though, will get the kill onto Corey, but Corey has already done so much damage. He will very much be resting in peace. Renshiro to get the second one as well. Taking down Baka Brian. That's a smoke. That's a much bigger pick here, but Chaos is still on the site. And they should have sight on the diffuser, as Aces will walk in the back. He'll hit the alibi, and he'll get detected here. Vale right at the side with the Jaeger. He'll get one, and Aces, though, has already gotten the kill on KS. Renshiro with 5 seconds on the clock. What needs to happen now is they fall back, and Rips will get one more. Millenium go down, and here we are. Round number 8 to go the way of Mockit. One more round, and Mockit go to LAN.
Well, of course, they also have the advantage because even if Millenium come back, it's still Mockit going to LAN.
Unless it's a tie.
I mean, in the sense of if it's a tie and Secret don't win.
Yes.
Sorry, let me be clear on that. So Mockit still, even in a tie situation, even if it come back from Millenium happens, Millenium cannot win at this point. So Millenium cannot go to LAN right now, because they have no way to win this. So they can't.
Even if they tied Mockit and Secret lost their game against Chaos, Mockit would still have the advantage in total.
So Millenium now locked out of Rio. It's up to Mockit to finish it, and what Secret could do. But unfortunately, this is looking like Secret might not even have a chance, because if Mockit win this, it doesn't matter what happens in Secret's match. They're not going.
And that is to, I guess, the detriment and the sadness of half of Reddit. And a lot of Team Secret fans. And you know what? If you're a Team Secret fan, you should be proud regardless.
I mean, honestly, I'd love to see a tie just so that the Secret game's even more hype.
Yes, 100%.
Like, regardless of who you're a fan of, right?
No, but honestly, for me, because I have this question asked, as I'm sure it has been asked to you within the past few days, who would you like to see at LAN? And you know what? My answer is, I don't care who goes to LAN.
Everyone?
Everyone, yes. But I don't care who goes to LAN right now, because Mockit, Millenium, and Secret each have their own huge story. They're all fighting for the spot close, 1-to-1 next to it, with very few points separating them. And in this case, only rounds separating them.
Well, I don't care, because they've all earned it.
They've all earned it, that's for sure. And it's always sad to not see all of your friends making it to the big event where you can all hang out again. But unfortunately, that's how the cookie crumbles when it comes to the big events. And remember that the team that qualifies to Rio from every region automatically qualifies to a 6th Invitational in February. So it's It's a doubleheader.
At least they also have DreamHack in between for those teams that are European that still want to go to that. So still could see all these guys that land at that. Just, yeah, not all of them can go. And, of course, when you have a team like G2 in your region, there's pretty much one spot that no one gets to get.
All right, there you go. Livin will at least help out Hicks along the outside as they open up the tunnel. Okay, bit of a stall there as they relay information. And Rise just on the buck. Now, will they use the buck to drop in any equipment? Will they use them to hold off the hallway? We're not sure. As, Rise, there you go. There you go. It's going to try to break down the hallway. And right now, the hatch is already open, but Rise takes a bit of damage and fail with the finisher. The first kill of potentially the final round. It's Rise to go down on the buck as he tries to open the kitchen floor and gets caught off guard by the Maestro of Vale. That might come back and cost Millenium yet another round, and at this point, their chances have dwindled, and I can't even imagine what the morale must be like right now for a team that has played so hard and darn well to try and come back into this. Hicks is walking upstairs. It seems Millenium are kind of trying to save the round somehow, but demoralized. They'll have to pinch it all together and try to save the day and at least maybe get a tie at the end of this. As, you know, we still want to get as much cash as possible at the end of the season. There's a $1,500 difference between you know, the top spots. Livin droning in here in the Habana. His drone will be lost with 43 seconds left on the clock. Do they know where he is? Oh, there you go. There's going to be an impact that's going to be thrown in here. Rips will set up by Blue as he's awaiting any potential peeks. He'll spot it, but he can't get the kill off of it. Renshiro will get one on KS. Brian with one refrag. There's still the Legion trying to save the day, but the Habana is already on the floor. Renshiro with one more, but that's the loss. Diffuser's on the floor now. Two players down there and out. Renshiro last alive, low on health, and it can all end here. Renshiro with one headshot. He clicks Baka. Rips finally finishing off aces, but there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It is all done and dusted. Mockit, for the first time in Pro League history, will be the first German team to qualify to the finals.
I would sure hate to be aces right now. You just got to be feeling like, did I board the wrong ship here? Because
at least a lot of respect in chat, as you saw.
Yeah.
Good luck in Rio, my friends, and that's all that matters. You know, everybody loves a bit of drama in Pro League here and there, but at the end, it's all about who wins in that W at the end of the day, even if it is one round. In the case of Monday Night North America with SK versus Rogue, it was only one round. It was still SK at the end going out and saying, we played very hard, we couldn't make it. They were the better team in that game, and they deserve it. And in this case, Mockit end up winning, and with that, it ends the story of EU. G2 and Mockit are going to Rio, and of course, both teams are locked in for 6th Invitational. We'll remind you again at the end of the play day, after Secret versus Chaos, we'll have the draw for the Rio Finals. So don't go anywhere after it because we won't be done.
And huge kudos to Mockit, because not only did they win, they lost 3 people during the season. That's a tough spot to be in, because none of those were voluntary. None of those were like, you're dropped. It was like, no, we're dropping you. And
so much drama.
And the thing is, so that means they had to work so much harder, because you can't just slot a new person in and call it a day. Every new person you get, you have to put in a lot of effort to get them up to speed, to get them to the right position. And Vale had even been on the bench and had to come back. This is really the toughest season Mockit could have faced, and still came out ahead. So very, very impressive by them, and absolutely earned it. So I hope they also have a great showing at Rio, because they've shown they can adapt through a lot of adversity.
Yeah, and of course, having those 2 new players on the squad is not, well 3.
Yeah.
Technically 3, technically 2, depending on how you want to look at it.
True, because Vale came back,
Yeah. Still, it's a difficult thing to do. Usually, even one player on the squad requires a lot of adaptation. Being able to do this, and do this in such an efficient way to shut down a team like Millenium, is very impressive. And this means that I'm going to have to struggle, because KS is actually coming over this weekend.
Yeah, you're going to have to deal with all his bragging or,
Oh,
you know,
God, it's
big old smiles. I mean, that's of course assuming you don't have to talk to him in just a minute anyways. So
Yeah, we are getting ready to get into an interview. We're waiting to get everybody in. As of course, this was the qualifying match for Rio, so I guess tensions are pretty high right now. Everybody's pretty happy, and it takes a second to get people in a call to talk about.
yeah, they're all popping champagne on their side and whatnot. So it takes them a second to clean off.
Or fizzy water because it's Germany.
It's true. Yeah. We'll see though. But this is
Millenium's performance.
yeah. Millennium, I think, performed well, but at the same time, it was just people like Corey being able to shut down some of the important players many a times, I think was a huge problem for Millennium. I mean, they picked the biggest fragger up from Mockit's team, picking up aces. The big problem with that is you pick up a big fragger like that and you have to kind of reorganize your team, right? It's tough. You have to reorganize how you're playing, and I don't think Aces has been able to play to the same level on this team that he did on the other team, and struggling with some language adjustments as well.
Yeah, and that was the big change for Europe. There's a lot more of that non-regional language being played anymore, even though back in the day we had Pidux and Youngtus for it. But our interview is ready, so let's head into this as Niklas Masier is waiting for us. Good evening, KS. How are you?
Hello. I'm doing actually really good after my really bad performance, but I'm doing good.
Honestly, there's not a single time where I talk to you after a game where you don't say that you had a bad performance. But here, it was great. And again, congratulations to you and the team. You qualified to Rio. First of all, how do you see the team with Brian and Corey? Because Brian was having a bit of shaky plays here and there. We saw the last couple of weeks. He had the technical ability. It's just how does he adjust? And Corey has had a very fast rise into the top, really, for players here in Pro League and EU. How's the teamwork meshing around?
The teamwork is going really well at the moment. Obviously, we have some problems and losing some rounds which we shouldn't have lost, but losing rounds means nothing. You can still go up and win some rounds. And with the newest lineup of Corey and Baka having a really good support and a good fragger as well in the back, it's like, I don't know, we have way better team play, doing way better strats, and I don't know, we're doing way better than before. I wouldn't say that we were bad before, but right now our potential is coming out, and I don't know, man. It's getting better and better all the time.
Yeah, so there was a certain round where you guys were trying to push into Millennium, and they were defending up in cash. There was a Jaeger that was positioned up on the railing in garage, and it's usually a very difficult position to attack against. It ended up in a big failure, really, for the team on it. But from your end, what's the best way to tackle such a position? Because not many teams have been able to figure it out.
How to attack this bomb site or what? It's hard to play this or like attack this bomb set because you have to get garage if you want to do like the garage cash push. You need garage, and what you kind of do is like you try to take launch, for example, and flank the guy in garage from different angles. You breach garage, you go indoor, coming from launch at the same time, try to get these people out. But yeah, obviously we failed a little bit because Curry and me, we actually died in the doorway, and this shouldn't,
It's not best case scenario.
Yeah, not the good case.
All right. One final question. Could you try to recreate what it sounded like in that very last round with the team? As you were getting the last kills to secure your position.
I'm obviously not going to do this right now because there were some bad words, not about other players or something. Just, for example, me, even with the bad performance, screaming so many insults. So, no comment.
How was the communication even going down on that last round? Because you guys started off with an advantage, and Corey just kept following up one by one. How do you keep your nerves in a position where you might lose the round if you get too much ahead of yourself?
Actually, I was like checking the last round a little bit. That's why I couldn't get the kill. I'm pretty sure that Baka lost his duel there too because we said, okay, guys, we have the diffuser. Please be safe. Be safe. Don't do anything else. And then we lost the first player already again. And then we said, okay, guys, don't peek anymore. Just straight. And we had the angles. And yeah, we got this.
All right. Maybe we can utilize that strategy in our own ranked games, right, Marcio? Anyways, Thank you very much for that, KS. Would you like to add anything to your fans at the end of this victory in qualification, not only to Rio, but also to Six Invitational?
Thank you so much for supporting us, even with the, I don't know, bad attitudes outside or something, like coming from all the sides, because, you know, so many rumors, and sorry if I have to say this, shit talk and everything, you know. So thank you so much for being behind us and supported us all the way to Rio and Canada right now. I'm proud of the team right now.
All right, well, I'm sure they were proud of you. Again, the first ever German team to qualify to Pro League. Dankeschön. KS, and I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Good night.